My book doesn't look as elongated as your book.
Your book is huge.
I've got a new old man problem.
Oh, yes?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
So for a new old man.
Can't wait.
And so new and then space, old dash man.
So,
Okay.
for you, it's a new old man problem.
yes.
So for PR, it's going to be like 2 decades ago.
I don't know if
experience.
I think this might be like the unicorn of old man problems.
Right, let's hear about it.
So for the last week,
So it's horny?
I was walking early morning, 3 a.m., getting ready to go work out. I have like a 2-hour process to hit the gym. And I'm realizing there's this odd sensation on under, like kind of on the top of both of my toe knuckles, my big toe knuckles. After like 3 or 4 days of this, I have come to realize that the hair on top of my toe knuckle is so long, it wraps around underneath, and when I step down, it pulls on top of the toe knuckle. So
Jesus.
now,
Wait a minute, dude. You're fucking.
That is not an old man problem. That's a Trevor Brown
problem.
That
so
is
you're
totally.
you're telling me that your fucking toe hair is so long
Yeah.
that it goes underneath the toe?
yes,
That's-
underneath kind of like the ball of my foot. So
That-
I got out my
Trevor,
manscapers
that's
and
fucking insane. Dude. That's
That
not
is-
an old man
that is
problem.
that is
fucking
borderline
nuts.
disgusting.
Jesus.
well, it's like when your eyebrows and
Yeah.
shit get long and nose hairs get crazy.
Yeah, but that's not proportional. So proportionally, for your toe hair to be that long, if you're comparing it to your eyebrow hair would come down to your fucking chin, like that. That's ridiculous.
No,
Dude.
so we're talking like maybe what, an inch to wrap.
Which
to give
toe?
More so on the left side, but both toes.
No, which toes though?
What do you-
Pinky toe, big toe,
Big toe.
Big toe.
big toe. So it's your big fucking toe. It's
Yeah.
got to be at least 1.5 inches.
The worry that I have though is that if that had to grow, it either had an unusual growth spurt whilst you were sleeping, which is a good reason I would say go with that one. But if it was the second part of my argument, it means that you haven't been paying good attention to yourself. It's like having a long nose hair sticking out of your nose and not being aware of it, right? I am acutely aware if I have something.
That is
out.
an old man problem. Is when you have to start actually paying attention to your ears and nose hair.
Yeah, but it's things you should just do. It's just being hygienic or aware of
But
yourself.
my point is, in the 20s, I didn't have to do that. It didn't grow that long. And it
Yeah,
was
but you
never
were
a
worried
concern.
about other things,
Now
right?
I'm
when
concerned.
you were younger.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have that problem with the toes. The reason I'm bringing this up because I shaved my toes from a young age.
Now I shave my toes as of
Yeah, there you go.
as of last week.
In fact, I think I've even gotten beyond you. I don't even grow hair on my toes anymore, but I did actively used to have to shave my toe knuckles.
So as an old man problem, being the one old man here, I don't have hair on my toes.
Let me correct you. We're all three old men. You're just a really old man.
Really old man.
Yeah.
Okay, in my 50s. But
I mean, late 50s.
well, in my 50s still.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, 59.
But I
and a
don't
half
have any
is
hair
50s.
on my toes at all. However, I must say that when one talks about an old man problem, the real old man problem that I have is the number of times that I need to wake up at night to pee.
How many times?
It drives me insane.
How many times?
Well, what I've decided, it used to be more than once. So it used to be 2 or 3 times. And you mentioned to me a few months ago that you actually stopped drinking water a few hours before you go to bed.
Me?
You did?
No, that's actually, yes,
was
maybe
good.
a couple of months ago, but
Yeah.
now I'm actually drinking probably 36 ounces
Yeah.
before I go to bed because I have adjusted my schedule. I'm drinking 40-gram protein shakes before I go to sleep so that I can recover with muscle overnight. And I get up 3 or 4 times and piss, and it's driving me nuts. I also think that something's going on with my system where also brand new old man problem. I think with all the supplementing I'm doing throughout the day, something might be going on with my prostate because when I pee at night, it's like, come
No
on,
flow.
let's go.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's an embarrassing thing when you go to,
you need to go
particularly when you
fucking
go to a
doctor.
public
It's
restroom.
just at night, and I think it's like,
Right.
I think it has to do with like body recovery.
Well, you don't have to have the finger, right? We're still young enough to where we don't have to have the finger, but they do a PSA test, which is even more accurate.
I've
so.
I've had the finger.
Have you?
Yeah,
I've never had it.
I played music so long, like a 4-hour.
Oh
straight
yeah, you've
set,
told this. Yes,
and
yes.
pissed blood, and then I went into the doctor, and he's like, "Bend over."
Bend over. Was it
That was
one
horrible.
finger or two fingers?
I don't know. I think I kind of blocked out that part of the.
Yeah, you sound like a connoisseur over there, PR. What's your preference?
I have no idea how many fingers they use, but
It feels like a baseball
it
bat.
does. It's just a horrible feeling. But yeah, the idea of waking up. But what I've done now is that I don't have. So I normally go to bed between 10:30 at night. So what I've decided to do is have dinner early. So I normally have dinner by 7:30. Have my last glass of water by 8, and it's really tough because I love having water. I like hydrating myself throughout the evening. But I've stopped that, and because I don't drink water for the last 2 hours before I go to bed, I find that I almost don't get up, and if I do, it's normally about 3:34, and I normally get up at 5. So it almost feels like I've not woken up. So that bit of therapy has helped. But otherwise I was getting up like 3 times a night.
Well, I get woken up by Mr. Benson. If he does not wake me up at night, I do not wake up, and I just get up in the morning and have to pee. But if he wakes me up, I'm like, I gotta piss.
Do you drink water before you go to bed?
Oh yeah, and I'm drinking 150 ounces of water a day and keeping track because it's reduced my sinus symptoms. Everything you read says as you get older, your body can't process water anymore. You got to drink water. So I'm trying as hard as I can, and I've actually noticed it seems to be keeping me pretty healthy.
I think the most important thing for me to communicate to anybody out there that wants to drink plenty of water, and I heard this story. I read an article. Basketball player was slamming water and still dehydrated.
Oh, because of salts.
You got to put a little salt in it.
So I actually have a
to get it
hack
to
there.
stick.
I have a hack there because I've been doing so much running. I have gummies that are like fucking delicious anyway, and they are electrolyte gummies from like some running company, but they're crazy amounts of electrolytes, which you should not be. If you shouldn't be taking in electrolytes unless you're in the deficit,
in the athletic zone.
Like a lazy slob shouldn't be chugging fucking Gatorades like it's going to do something.
Right.
You should be drinking Gatorades only because you're expending so much salt that you need it back in. But I mean, with as much as I'm running, I've been chewing those, and it's been great. So.
Speaking of Gatorade, I've been doing a lot of introspective work this week. I'm realizing that I'm judgy as fuck at the grocery store. Do you find that you're judgmental?
I'm
about it?
terrible with
Explain
that.
to me.
Yeah.
Explain to me what you mean.
I go through a ritual before I go through the grocery store and before I cook food because I want to be happy about the sustenance I'm putting in my body. I think it's important to have some sort of, not ceremony, but anyway, so I'm going through the grocery store. I'm in my happy place. I'm picking out chicken breast, zucchini, egg whites, things like that, right? I pull up to the register, and the guy in front of me has carbs, shit, like packaged shit, canned shit, and then he throws
Gatorade.
He throws a deal up there that says like, it's like Gatorade, but it says like exercise drink.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I'm standing there shaking my fucking head, man, and I'm like, oh my. I look at my cart, and I'm like, yes, this is the way to go.
I mean, I used to do that. I don't do it so much anymore, but I did used to like pick and choose. I used to pick and choose what was going in my cart with the idea that like if I saw some chick, I was gonna pick up some chick, I'd want my cart to look sexy.
That's kind of cool.
Like what like I'm picking out things and not picking out things based on how it would look if I just bump into some chick and she takes the glance down at the cart to see what I'm shopping with. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it says
and
a
you
lot
don't do
about
that
you.
anymore?
No, I'm married. I don't need to do that.
I used to go to the Target in Waterford Lakes. So it was kind of like at least when I was in college, it was the nicest grocery store where all the UCF babes went. And at the immature age that I was at, I would go up and down aisles until I found a product, like a name of a product that I could make a joke about.
Nice.
I can't think of a specific one now, but I'd grab the product, go up to a babe, hand her it with some really shitty one-liner and be like, You're as sweet as sugar, babe.
Oh, wow. Jesus. Ooh, that's rough, man.
Yes,
that hurts. That's
Yeah, you.
That's some
Fortunately,
cringe.
you've made a.
you
You've gone a
don't have to-
long
you don't have
way
to-
from
you don't
that.
have to rely
Well,
on those anymore.
You know, wisdom comes with failure. So,
Yes.
all right. So, I got bowed up on by a kid at the dentist's office the other day.
How old? Of a kid?
Let's call it like 4 or 5.
Okay. A real kid.
A kid.
Okay.
But this interaction was really interesting. So the kid is playing with that, like the blocks and spheres that are on the metal.
Oh, yeah.
And
And
you-
the
and
waiting
you-
room for every medical place.
which is probably
You know what we're
covered
talking
in-
about? So it goes woo, whoop. Like it starts on one side. There's different wires and they're different beads that the kids go like this and it ends at.
So,
So
were you at a pediatric dentist?
no, I was just a regular dentist.
I mean, they got it. Yeah.
So this kid definitely had a fade haircut. Definitely was Spanish machismo. Definitely playing with the blocks and making a shit ton of noise. And it was obnoxious. And I noticed that I was getting huffy and puffy. And I feel like the waiting room was generally under stress from this kid being a little asshole. And he looked over at me and we locked eyes and had a staring contest. And then I winked at him and he got fucking pissed. And to the point that the lady behind the counter had to like diffuse and was like, Mr. Brown, your appointment kind of deal. So the interesting thing when I step back and observe this is like where the fuck did this kid learn the characteristics to like try to pull this off? But I was laughing my ass off because it's almost like Baby Huey. Like this kid is playing with a stupid little toy, being a little kid, but also has a completely mature hair trigger to want to like kick some ass.
Well, I mean, it could be just a one-off. It could be a kid who, is like torturing squirrels and shit is going to end up being a serial killer. Or it could be a larger cultural problem. I don't think you have enough data.
I think his
to say
dad.
one way or the other.
My
his
speculation is his dad taught him how to do that. Instead
Did you
of
look at his dad? Was his dad there?
his mom was there.
What does his mom look like?
Spanish.
I mean, what was she wearing? Like, what are we talking about?
What do you
Crop
call it?
top?
Like wet ramen noodle hair.
Okay. Well, that's a biological situation. I'm asking you, give me some choices that she's made. Was her belly exposed going to the dentist?
I don't think so. I was more concentrated on the little kid possibly kicking my ass.
Like, were her clothes expensive? Were her
Yes,
shoes inexpensive?
absolutely.
Inexpensive?
Inexpensive.
Okay. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, these are ways that you can determine, in my opinion, whether or not this kid may be a one-off or maybe a larger problem with.
What do you mean by one-off?
Some fucking people are born serial killers.
Oh.
Like, I know a kid who is now a full-grown adult. He's institutionalized. But when we were kids, he was the younger brother of a girl that I knew, and I used to spend time at their house. Parents are great. The girl that I knew was great. They tried everything, and I remember from the time the kid could talk, he was biting people and doing all kinds of crazy shit, setting fucking animals on fire like a fucking serial killer. Now he's institutionalized, rightfully so. Some people are just fucked up. Maybe this kid was fucked up, or maybe parents didn't give a shit. I don't know.
Well, so that leads me to an exploration that I had this week of is arrogance. Can arrogance be a good thing? Or is all arrogance just arrogant shit?
I mean, you have to have, you have to have some level. I guess we need to define arrogance then. What, in your opinion, your idea of self-worth, when does it raise to the level of arrogance to determine whether or not arrogance is good or bad?
Well, so that's what I'm trying to identify is like, is there a good part of arrogant where you're confident enough. So I guess confident would be the good aspect of arrogant. But at what point does it cross over to a negative? I think arrogance can be good.
Okay.
I think you can say like, I am a good golfer, I am a good barber, I am a good musician, stuff like that. But then when you get into a kind of a shitty, my shit doesn't stink sort of, I'm trying to define the line.
I mean, that's what I would define the line as the line. I'd say it's any confidence is great once you've gone beyond the ordinary level of confidence to where it makes other people feel uncomfortable or lessens other people. That becomes arrogance, which is not good. So I would say no arrogance could be good only because, or, it's semantics. But what I'm saying is you can have an extremely high level of confidence, still really good, some unfounded, unsupported confidence even, because that's good sometimes, to be the guy who just blasts in courageously to save somebody, even though you may not have the skills to do it.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. But then when it becomes something where it's faux, where it's for purposes other than what you're trying to do, I guess that could shift into arrogance. And in a world of social media, arrogance is going to constantly be right in front of your fucking face.
Where I actually got the concept to try to fuck around with it is a movie. A Michelin-star chef is recruiting his team to go for his next Michelin-star, and he finds a kid that's really great at cooking meat and starts to kind of do a street interview with him. And asks him a series of questions, virtually walking all over him because the kid is starstruck by the famous chef. Mm-hmm. And he's like, whatever you want, whatever you want. And then at the end of the conversation, the chef goes, to work in my kitchen, he goes, you lack arrogance. To work in my kitchen, you need to have arrogance, which I think the definition of that term is being loosely applied, and it should be more like you should have confidence to work in my kitchen. But I do think that,
I think he's saying more than that.
That's
a great example.
Let's dive into it.
I think he's saying more than that. What he's saying is not only do you need to have confidence to know you're good, I need you to be arrogant enough to come at me because I'm the best. However, I'm not. Nobody's perfect. I want people who will challenge me constantly. Even when they're wrong 99 times out of 100, they're still going to challenge me and be arrogant enough to come at me, the master, because that one time out of the 99, I'm going to be fucking wrong. And I needed you, the arrogant guy, there to fucking tell me. Now, as long as your arrogance is not backed up by a lack of self-esteem, because you have to be able, if you're the kid, who's great at meat, you have to be prepared to take 99 times where you were arrogant with this guy and you're shown to be the idiot for the one time that you have a success for which you probably won't even get that much fanfare for. So I think that's what he's saying.
If I think about that instance, and there's a number of times when people that come across as being arrogant are actually very charming. They are very appealing and very attractive in their arrogance. And that's because if you are arrogant, firstly, you shouldn't really care about what the other people are trying to are perceiving of you, right? I think you need to be authentic enough in your ability and go out there and do your thing to your best. In every instance, no matter what you're doing to the best of your ability, people are going to consider you in instances because it's so subjective, right? Nick to me may be confident. To somebody else, he may be arrogant, right? Now, that's the same person saying the same thing. Somebody perceives him as being very good.
That person's just an idiot.
And somebody else perceives you as being arrogant. Now, I actually think that arrogance is a strength and that it is... Now, you become offensive when you don't believe in what you're saying, you're not confident in what you're saying, or you have absolutely no knowledge about what you're saying.
So I read a quote, a baseball player, can't remember who, said something like, it's not bragging if you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that like a form of what you're identifying?
So you know that I'm an aspiring DJ, right? And so I think that back in the 90s and the 2000s, I used to listen to a lot of radio, right? And more talk shows. That I really enjoyed. And some of the DJs, in my opinion, used to be exceptional with their ability and their, to just kind of just talk about anything, right? And to rip into topics in an incredible way, but in an insightful way, right? In a way that as the listener, you end up really feeling engaged. Now, some people felt that was arrogant. I found that to be incredibly entertaining, and what I wanted from a talk show. So when you talk about that young aspiring, sous chef or whatever with the 3 Michelin-star guy, to me the arrogance would have been he needs to believe so much in his ability that he's going to have 99 people out of 100 coming in there and saying that dish was awful. But if you're arrogant enough, you should be able to say, I think that is a work of art. It is worthy of 3 Michelin stars. Now, that is, to me, your high level of confidence, your high conviction in what you have. And yes, some people are going to consider it arrogance. Others are going to consider it worthy of 3 Michelin star or genius.
Yeah.
So I'm in a great
I disagree
admirer.
with that. I think you need to be like, if you're making a dish and 99 out of 100 think that it's shit, then it's shit one way or the other.
No, you know what happens a lot of the times?
What I was
Nick?
saying was if the genius, if you're what that guy was saying was, I need you to be arrogant in my kitchen because I need you to make me better as a master. So 99 times out of 100, the master is going to tell you you're not great. But once out of that 100, you're going to, and the next 100, it's going to be 2 out of 100, and then 3. That's how you learn and get better.
But I think that
But if you're just making food at a restaurant and 99 of your dishes out of 100 are shit, then you're just a shit chef.
So here's the thing, right? Have you watched the movie Chef? Right? It's one of
No.
to me, it's one of the John Favreau. It's just the one with the food truck.
That movie makes water come out of my face.
It's a fabulous movie about a
it's
John
great.
Favreau and his son, and takes his little son off to try and build that food truck. Now, one of the things around which is quite remarkable in that is that he was trying to make certain experimental food, right? And the doyen or the guru of kind of critiquing chefs thought that what he was cooking was absolute rubbish, right? Now, what it takes of a genius is to persist in creating, because you see the genius when others don't. And so to me, that is what, in my opinion, 3 Michelin-star restaurants are really pushing the boundary of cuisine, of art, and of taste buds that most of us, mere mortals, haven't actually realized is possible with food, right? And that's why I think it does require such an incredible talent, and for you and I, or for me anyway, who's unsophisticated.
See, I think that's. I also disagree with that. So I don't think people are getting 3 Michelin stars because they're pushing all these boundaries and going nuts. What I've seen is the advancement of art, and the people who succeed in art, which include food, is taking the existing convention and going outside a little bit and happening to have that outside move that you did be in the shift that the trend is going in anyway. So like, for example, 10, 15 years ago, it was like deconstructed food was like a thing. Like it was interesting trend that people were doing. But that didn't just start with that. Like people would then slowly serve more deconstructed dishes till we get to the point of ridiculousness, and then it comes back to something else. So I all artists, they go in paths. There's like one big break that happens, like the surrealist movement or the ultra realism. Something happens, and then everybody's making moves around that break. So I don't know. I don't, and that's why I'm saying if you can't be a great artist who is 99 out of 100 food dishes is garbage to everybody who eats it, and one of them is a masterpiece. It's not really how I think genius happens. I think, in fact, I'd say that would be the 100th dish was an accident more than it was their art.
So something that resonates right now with me that I've also been exploring is the concept of art, more specifically music, but I think that you could generalize it as art and apply it across the board. True art is doing what you want to do, putting it out there, and that's the art, right? The issue that we're having today, I feel like we're having today in music industry is people are making songs because they think other people are gonna like it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you lose the magic of like true art.
When you say that, I mean, that's how it's always been, though. I mean, so you can draw a parallel. I used to make a joke that all in the 60s and 70s, it was funny that all these great artists were ugly, like ugly human beings. Like Janis Joplin was not an attractive woman. Steven Tyler, not an attractive man. Rod Stewart, and they become sex symbols even though they're not attractive. But if you look at them, traditionally speaking, they're not fucking attractive. Mama Cass, like, come on, like these people who made great music and were
Bob Dylan,
yeah, he's not a good-looking man either.
He doesn't sound very good either, does he?
I mean, well, Bob Dylan's kind of more famous for songwriting than he is for actually singing.
Yeah.
Although he's gotten a lot of success.
He's
singing.
won a literary award, right? He won a Nobel Prize in literature.
Yes, so I mean, he's more. But my point is, then you go to like the '90s and 2000s, specifically like the boy band and post grunge era. It's like the opposite. They were going to get models and movie stars and turning them into artists to make music make sense. And I think that was a change of the times. And what I was saying is, there wouldn't, if you were just making the music that you wanted to make, and that if you were to have a continued career, it can't just be the music you want to make. It has to have some sort of DNA because it fits into genres that exist. Like grunge was there, classic rock, like the Led Zeppelin classic rock era was there. The early 90s West Coast hip hop was there. Like, it becomes a trend where then other people become famous kind of with the same DNA. So, I mean, I think big breaks come that way. Like the shift from glam rock to grunge. I use this as an example just because it's so clear that in 1990, the biggest rock bands were fucking Mr. Big and Poison and Guns N' Roses. And then in the end of 91, 92, it goes fucking, they are gone. Like, out the door, and now it's all grunge almost overnight. And there was this one album that shifted, Nevermind, just fucking changed everybody's mind about shit. And then from then, it was all these bands that were making all this fucking grunge music that became popular. I don't know. So I think it goes in, there's a big break, and then a lot of people that were making that kind of music, that's their kind of music, they are all big, and then there's something else that comes along. And right now we're in like an era of kind of garbage. There's nothing really to hold on to, I don't think.
There's stuff out there, and it's one-offs that I think people are risking their neck for art, and they're probably not going to make it. And that's why we're in the era of singles.
Yeah,
like a band puts out a really good single, they hope for the single, they hope to create some momentum. Nothing happens because they're not commercially viable,
yeah.
Which is the same thing back then to food and taking the risk to, do I put something out, specifically in cuisine, do I put something out that I like myself, that I know, and confidence and arrogantly say this is amazing, or do I appease the masses and create McDonald's?
Well, I mean, your barbershop is an example of that, right?
Hopefully.
Well, it is. There are people that would view the approach very arrogant, and but the reality of it is that if you want to enjoy a certain experience, and it is for a certain type of person, they're gonna love being here, right? But if you don't want to follow the one would call it the arrogance, I would say immersing yourself into the experience, then you're not going to want to spend that money and come in for this. And that's with anything where people are pushing the boundaries and want to provide a unique experience.
I think this is the future. Like, I think curation, small curation of experience is what's going to end up happening, where That's why any mass-produced fucking shit is all failing. People see on Instagram, they want exactly what they want. Prices come down the more people who do it, but what you get here is you walk around and look at people. Most people just clearly did not give a shit what they were putting, like the clothes they were putting on, the way they're presenting themselves. Clearly, they just woke up and threw on whatever the fuck they had laying around. Like, that's most people, I think. That's not the type of person who's coming here and getting a haircut.
I think we're going to see a massive shift into two societal segments of people that want a high-end unique experience, and everybody else that will put on the same clothes and eat the same food and just be fucking
drones. I mean, I think that's going
I think
on.
There's going to be a not, like,
I could see him from a fucking mile away.
Yeah.
I could see somebody who gives a shit. I mean, you can tell compared to everybody else. Everybody else seems to like. I was sitting here in my car finishing a phone call before I walked in. I'm looking around at the people at the Chicken Shack, and like most of them, I'm like, dude, did you even look in a fucking mirror? Like, seriously, is this the best you've got? Like, this is what you've got. I get it. It's Sunday afternoon. But still, I have like Sunday afternoon clothes, like things that are low key but still matter, like still show that I give a shit what I look like. These people really fucking don't. And I think it's wild. But those are people who will always keep great clips for hair.
But isn't that isn't that kind of an Orlando thing that people kind of don't give a shit about how they look?
I'd say Orlando, unfortunately, is in the very top percentage of cities where people do give a shit what they look like. I mean, you've got, of course, places that are way beyond. You've got like Miami and Paris and New York, places where people really give a shit. But, I mean, dude, you ever been outside of fucking like a major city?
No, I'm talking about major cities. I'm saying major cities.
Oh, major cities?
We're in Orlando. We're in Winter Park, probably one of the most affluent parts, right? But I must say that I do deliberately put on, my kind of one of my philosophies is look good, feel good, perform better. I do feel that I must.
Dude, isn't that like the colon?
No,
that's the name of a self-help book, bro.
That's not a self-help.
That is like PR's Guide to Life, colon. Say it again. Here, let's go.
Hey, PR's
Guide to Life, colon.
I hear Oprah's looking for a new guru.
There you go.
What was it? Dress good? Say it again. What was it?
I want to. What?
You don't even remember it, do you?
What? Look good, feel good, perform better?
All right, so PR's Guide to Life, colon. Look good, feel good,
perform better. So, if you get up, right, really, firstly, get up early and work out. So that's kind of the thing, right? If I've never met a loser who gets up at 5:00 in the morning and works out, right? So the reality is that go do your thing, get up and have some purpose in your day.
Make arrogance a tailwind,
right? And then make arrogance a tailwind. And then the second thing is that before you leave the house, put on your best, man. Look your best, right? It's not that difficult, right?
When you say so, if you're setting the right expectations, I agree it's not difficult, and that's my point. I'm not saying you should wear a fucking suit or like don't. Really, but when it's Sunday afternoon and you want to wear a t-shirt and pants and shoes, wear something that fits you well, that says something about yourself. Even though it's that lower end stuff, you shop with purpose.
Yeah.
You buy things that matter.
The message is always, I take care of myself. I take myself seriously. Don't look like a clown. Yeah. You don't need to do that.
Don't look like you fucking...
Right?
I don't even walk my fucking dog without getting my shit together.
Just because because you respect yourself, right? Nobody's going to respect you if you don't respect yourself. Take yourself seriously. So I love coming into my office, right? Because I know that I'm gonna have to be the energy, not just in my office, but when clients calling in or when clients are coming in, right? I want to be, give off the right level of energy. Now, in order for me to do that,
feel good, perform better, man.
In order to do that, though, I've got to feel good about myself, right? I can't really be dragging my chin on the ground. I honestly don't feel that's my role, right? And in order for me to do that, I've got to, put on something, and you may not think I look good in it, but I think I look good in it, and that's what matters, right?
Yes.
So those guys that whilst you were sitting out, in your car on the phone, and if if some guy that you thought didn't look good in what he was wearing, but if he thought he looked good in what he was wearing, that matters. That's all that matters, right?
Yes.
But if he didn't even know what the hell he was wearing, then that's awful, you know. And if he was wearing Crocs, then that would be
He was not wearing Crocs.
that would be even worse. So yeah, I think that you really should put your best foot forward, but you know, do take care of yourself, man.
All right.
I realized that I was cheating at Jeopardy the other day.
What had you already seen it?
No. So
Did you
Amanda,
me versus you Jeopardy, but it was one you recorded from yesterday?
the other day, Amanda and I were watching Celebrity Jeopardy.
A recorded version.
And Amanda got sidetracked, did something in the kitchen. I watch everything with subtitles on, and the answers for the questions pop up before on the subtitles.
Oh, so she's not in the room.
She's in the kitchen, and I'm yelling out the answers.
And she's like, "Jeez, what are you, a fucking genius?"
My genius husband. Oh my god.
But so the interesting thing about this to me is that I caught myself doing it when I first started doing it. It's such a small amount of time, and I was honestly trying to answer the questions, but because of how long it takes my brain to compute and then the subtitles and everything, I was like, you're fucking cheating at this, man. Like you're waiting for you're unintentionally waiting for the subtitle to pop up and yelling it out.
So did you take the subtitles off, or did you?
No, I quit watching Jeopardy.
Okay, so that's fine. So you were not happy with the subliminal cheating.
I was watching Jeopardy because it was Celebrity Jeopardy. I felt like they were.
Who were the celebrities?
Seth Green was one.
Oh, nice.
I'm trying to remember the other episodes. Usually it's like 1B, and then like 2. I have no fucking clue who these people are.
Yeah.
And after the 3rd episode, I'm like, this is rubbish.
Yeah, I mean Seth Green's still making loot. He's on Family Guy.
Yeah, that was probably the best out of the 3 episodes that we watched. I'm really struggling to remember the other ones. A lot of comedians are doing it.
Yeah. It seems like easy for somebody.
Now,
like that
when
to
we were
do.
talking about taking care of ourselves and dressing up well, what about the cleanliness of our cars? Do you kind of think that it's important to keep your car well
it's important to
manicured?
keep fucking everything clean.
I don't necessarily, but I've thought about this the other day. I have a weird organizational structure and cleanliness structure. Everything's organized, everything has a place, but then there's like fucking chaos and dust involved.
So everything's clean all the time. That's my whole thing.
So your car, you happy that it's? Would you say dust?
There's dust.
There's dust in it?
But I don't let shit stack in the back seat. There's no trash or bottles. Everything's organized.
But you don't wipe it down.
I don't really wipe it down that often.
Jesus.
Did you gave me a look of absolute disappointment?
No, because I wouldn't have put you in that don't wipe it down category.
Yeah, it's
Because
fucking
I've seen
weird.
your house,
Mine's more.
and I've seen your barbershop, and they are both pristinely spotless.
No, so barbershop drives me nuts because no matter how much you sweep and clean, there's fucking hair everywhere.
I mean,
you
and
cannot.
the thing is, I'm fucking really nerdy about cleanliness, and I've never noticed that here. Like I've always thought
I've
it's
never
fine.
seen any
Oh,
hair
it drives me nuts.
But my car, my friend, is fucking spotless all the time. Spotless. My house is as clean as I can possibly keep it. With Linda, with sharing it with a wife and 2 dogs, like it's tough to keep the fucking place clean. I have a maid on Tuesdays, Fridays. Cars cleaned by a friend of ours' son.
How often
once
do you
a week.
clean your cars?
I don't. I mean, I clean it every day when I get home to get all the stuff out of it. Like if there's cans or
Sure.
whatever every day.
I don't imagine you.
But it
leaving
gets
cans
clean
around.
top to bottom by somebody who comes to the house once a week.
Once a week.
Oh yeah.
Once a week.
No, I would say that mine. I'm on a three day a week cycle. My car gets washed 3 days a week, and it's cleaned inside. It is always spotless. I dust the mat that I drive. My driver's side. Every time I get out of the car, I'm dusting it.
So I don't do that, but it's cleaned often enough. But it does get where toward the end, especially if I'm driving, like do a jury selection and somewhere else, it does get like where I'm like,
Dusty.
oh God.
Yeah.
And then sometimes Aiden, who does my car, PD's kid, he'll be like, he has something else going on. Like, he graduated. I'm like, shit, now I got 2 weeks. My car's going to be filthy. You know, and
Oh my.
Yeah.
I'm still in the late college, early career days of cleanup before people show up at your house, but it's
nice.
more of a just a look thing. Like if it's visibly dirty, I don't go like deep clean. And then
so if somebody goes beyond the facade, it all comes crumbling
yeah,
down.
absolutely. And then even to the extent that like I just pour a little bit of Clorox in each of the drains so that the illusion of smell says clean.
Yeah. That's like a Friday night clean the house in case you're bringing a chick home.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
you
it's
like
exactly what
section
it is.
everything where it's like at a screenshot here, she's going to be like, wow, he really keeps his place clean. But if she really were to even open this drawer, just stuff's going to
Well, it's like a teenager. When I was at at high school, I'd play either go for a swim on a Friday. There was a gala on a Friday, or we'd play tennis on a Friday afternoon. And then I'd get home, and if I'm late and my mates are picking us up, you know, like one of the brothers, the elder brothers picking us up, I'd work out now. Can I get away with just spraying underarm and going without having to shower?
Well, as you get older, you can't do that
You can't do that.
We
But when
fucking
you,
smell
when
now,
you know,
old men.
15
No,
or
no, I take an Irish bath all the time.
Yeah, I
because
mean,
you know why? Sometimes I want to assert my pheromones in a meeting and subconsciously dominate.
Dude, we live different lives. Like, you're the barbarian at the fucking gate. I'm the guy walking around next to the king taking, yes, sire, like taking his fucking notes, dude. We're different people.
Yeah, I know.
I have no musk to assert. I have no pheromones to distribute.
Oh, my pheromones are strong.
I use Old Spice because I read somewhere that you want to smell like a girl's grandfather. That's how you get them.
And
Yeah.
what was the deal you brought up a few conversations ago where you get chicks to respond to you by treating them shitty, negging them?
No, I have never negged anybody.
Negging
ever.
them?
I don't believe in that shit.
Wear Old Spice and tell
I'm
them
the wrong guy.
and psychologically shit all
I
over
like
them?
Old Spice because, yes, will take advantage of the wafting scent of an old man that somewhere in their brain they're like, oh, I know that smell. I will take advantage of that. Negging, I have never done.
I used to wear Brute in grade school.
Oh, Jesus. Like Dracar Noir, and fucking Polo Sport. Yeah, dude. I remember that shit.
Oh, my.
The old days. Yeah, you ready?
Yes, it's time for Mother Licking Funkler Nuggets.
Ooh, sexy.
Did anybody go to Fat Burger at 2 a.m. last night?
No, did you?
No.
No.
Trevor is definitely not doing anything at 2
I
a.m.
know,
other than
man.
sleeping.
I'm waking up at 2 a.m.
You're waking
now.
up for a pee.
Just for the record. No,
maniac
I'm
behavior.
Oh, you moved from 3 to 2?
yeah, kind of by accident. I'm paying attention to my circadian rhythms, and I go to bed now at kind of 7:30, 7:45. I'm trying to hit the sack, and then I'm waking up about 2:15, and naturally, like, I'm ready to go. I'm dragging ass by 6:37. I'm ready. Like, yeah, it's rough.
Ready to hit the deck?
Yeah.
Um,
I like the idea that I have completely switched routines in 6 months, and most of the people that I was hanging out with are probably still out and or going home trashed, and I'm waking up and working on cognition
for another
mind,
podcast,
mind, body, soul.
For another podcast, though, is just in terms of sleep patterns and when you actually get your rest. You know, because I do think there's some theory to it. You know, you can't just manipulate the time you go to bed and
Oh, no,
have
quite.
8 hours.
Dude, ask NASA. They've invested billions of dollars in that, and they've come to the conclusion that when you're in artificial environments that don't have a sunrise and a sunset, they have to artificially create it to get meaningful sleep from people. That's billions and billions of dollars of research.
Yeah.
The circadian rhythm has been around since we were not even human beings, since before we evolved into Homo sapiens. It was around.
It's about riding that circadian wave.
Circadian wave, baby, brother. Well, I have one that I'll mention just because it is I'd say go there because it's going to close. There's a restaurant called Leiah, Leiah, across from the courthouse, downtown Orlando, that has been pushing it hard to like try and get reservations.
Is that the spot next to the Starbucks?
Yes.
It's closing?
No. I'm just telling you it's going to close. There's no way they can survive. Like, there's never anybody there. It's a terrible location. The food is fucking A+, though. I'll tell you. Have you been?
I had their pastrami sandwich.
The pastrami sandwich.
Yes.
That's what I had.
Fucking amazing.
Dude, so
Really
fucking
good.
good. Like, I had pastrami sandwich and a lobster bisque, and it was great service. Fucking food was excellent. And I'm looking around, no other human beings in the whole place. I'm like, this place is never going to make it.
What time
never
of
going to
day did you
survive.
go?
It was lunch.
So it's a lunch place.
No, I think they're trying to be a dinner place, but it's just such a shitty location. I don't see how anybody other than staying in that hotel would ever go.
How big is the?
Very small. So maybe they survive. I'd say maybe they could fit 20 people in at a time. Menu looked excellent. Like, I'd like to try more of the stuff on it, but I had to have that pastrami sandwich because the pictures look amazing, and it was amazing. So I'd say if you want a pastrami sandwich or you want a good dinner experience and you don't have a reservation, you're doing it last minute, Leiah, downtown, check that fucking place out. They have a sommelier, by the way.
Oh.
I'm sitting there, a fucking sommelier comes over at lunchtime and gives Linda, because it was in June, so I'm not drinking. She gives Linda the whole spiel about where the wine came from. And I'm like, dude, there's no way you guys can afford a sommelier.
We need more of those kind of wine experiences where the person actually recommending the wine, actually, one, is knowledgeable, and two, is giving you an experience around, the wine tasting.
I knew you dig it, and that's why I'm saying if
Gotta
anybody
try it
wants to try it, you need to hit it fast because I don't know how much longer it's going to last. But it's definitely a hidden gem, reasonably priced. They have a sommelier with good wine selection.
Can we shred the topic of a sommelier down real quick? Aren't they a fucking dime a dozen these days? And isn't everybody a sommelier?
Why? Because of Google?
No, I mean, I remember seeing a movie about it, and it seems like, at least for me, same thing as Michelin stars. Like, they're just fucking throwing these things out at everybody.
So we've discussed that. They're not throwing Michelin stars out at everybody.
But I'm applying the same
the
concept to
state of
sommeliers.
Florida had no Michelin stars
Right.
in the entire existence, and now they're catching up because they just came to Florida.
Okay.
So a Michelin star means something to me, and I can tell the difference. A sommelier to me is not just somebody who I took wine tasting in undergrad. If somebody knows nothing about wine, I could sound like I know what I'm talking about. That's not what a sommelier does. In my opinion, a sommelier is increasing your chances to come back to that restaurant because they did pick out a wine that you would actually enjoy. I mean, what do you...
Yeah, I agree with that. But it's also a professional qualification, right? They may be because the reason why you may be feeling... I don't think that because I don't know too many restaurants that have a sommelier at all.
Christner's
right?
does.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. But if you think about the number of restaurants here in Winter Park, we probably can't count
Yeah, I agree.
on our one hand the number of restaurants that have them, right?
Yeah.
Because, so yes, you go and order wine, they all have wine, but they don't have a wine specialist. So I would beg to differ that it is that there a hell of a lot of them, because in Winter Park, I don't know too many restaurants that have them.
I agree.
But I do think it is something that more restaurants should have. I know in Australia, particularly in Sydney, major city, there's a lot of sommeliers.
They're
and
also a
it does help.
burgeoning wine. Like, Australia wants to be a wine center.
Yeah,
like
and
with the more hardcore reds. With
But I
Shiraz.
also they take
See, I can sound like I know
they
what I'm talking
take
about. I
their
know what I'm
dining
talking about.
experience very seriously. And in South Africa, in most of our cities, we have sommeliers as part of the deal. I would think that in Winter Park and in our surrounding areas, because of the kind of restaurants that we go to, the restaurants we're talking about are not, Wendy's, right? They are good restaurants. You would think that if you're interested in ordering a bottle of wine, and the wines are relatively expensive here, right? They're $100, on average. There should be somebody that's interested in wine, that knows a bit about it, and does a recommendation. For me, what I find very
Do
irritating.
they have a sommelier at Wine Room?
I believe so.
They do?
I I don't recall, but I believe so.
Wait,
but
is Wine Room the place that you go put a card into the wall and get?
Yeah.
yeah. But I've never.
I mean, that's why they don't have them here. To answer your question, PR, what you're questioning, I agree with you. If we want to be an upscale area, a nice place to eat and stuff, there should be things like sommelier. There's not, though, because the people here don't. They just walk up and put their cup in the thing and get the spit. Like, I'm the same way. Wine tastes the same to me. I'm a liquor guy. I could use a liquor connoisseur or, somebody telling me about that. Yeah. But that's just a bartender.
Yeah.
For a sommelier, though, I agree with Trevor. The wine room is more of a place where people are like, yeah, just give me a fucking red.
But
like,
the horrible experience then for me, which is, I'm a complete wine snob. Because I enjoy wine.
Would you say you're arrogant about wine?
I'm very arrogant about wine.
Yeah.
But the thing is that when I get offended, is when
That's
somebody
an arrogant person.
when somebody says to me, what would you like wine? Would you like a white or red? And I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling for a white today. Oh, I think you should have this. I mean, give me a break. I mean, seriously.
They didn't ask enough questions about your
it's like I'm
mood you're in?
No, it's like, is that no? But it's such a funny way to say. I think you should have the Chardonnay, and then my retort is normally I actually don't like, and I'm being very polite now, arrogant but polite. I actually don't like a wooded wine, and so it's one of the only grape varietals that I don't enjoy.
You want somebody to go, what kind of mood are you? They want to look at you and go, you know what, man? I could see that on the surface you're like a self-help guru, positivity guy, but underneath there's some dark shit going on.
Underneath you like six hand massages.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but no, it's not that. It's about
he likes to not know.
You're feeling for a white wine.
Hands are all over it. Remember
what kind of whites do you normally have? I mean, it's like an ordinary question. You don't have to know what mood he's in. And then I would have responded, I actually like a Sauvignon Blanc, let's say, that's how the discussion goes. And he would say, you know what, I have this Sauvignon Blanc, but I have this as an alternate to a Sauvignon Blanc, and then we can have but for you to just come out the blue,
I agree,
and just give me a grape varietal, that is just insanity.
I agree with you, not because I think there's benefit to it for me personally, for somebody asking, like, I think there's benefit to them getting a tip and making the restaurant look better. Is instead of going, oh, I think you should have this shirt, you go, hey man, what are you feeling today? How you feeling?
No, you're not going to ask the guy, what are you feeling?
Are you sad? You a little sad? You a little depressed? I got something if you're a little depressed.
I'd be a little bit worried if the sommelier starts to ask me, how are you feeling?
I mean, that's how they do it.
But anyways, I will definitely try Leiah's. Let's put it that way.
Good.
What have you got, Trev?
What you got?
Yeah, let's see. Did last weekend had a cheat day, which I'm excited. It's the second cheat day that I've had since starting this epic.
First day was Reyes.
This one was Nile Ethiopian. It was fantastic.
Fuck you, man.
The family that runs it is amazing. There's like a matriarch lady that I feel, the really crazy eyes, very serious, but I'm starting to crack her.
I think she has a sense of humor. It's deadpan.
She's very deadpan.
What's good about that restaurant, though, is that they're actual Ethiopians serving the meals, right?
Yeah.
So this woman that you're talking about is actually just,
good.
she's...
I like how it's like an
deal.
old it's like going to your grandma's house where you catch shit if you don't eat all your food and stuff like that.
What'd you get?
The meat sampler.
Okay.
We did the what do you call it? The
chefs.
The sampler starter.
Okay.
Like when we went, we split, and then the meat sampler. Intuitive Muse had the veggie sampler. It was fantastic.
Oh God, that place is killer.
Yeah, that was kind of it for the week, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so Ed and I, the wizard and I, we went to.
You guys have been going on dates recently.
Yeah. Well, him and I are the only ones that are actually drinking.
Oh, I guess drinking.
You know what I'm saying?
I got fucking fun. I go out every single night. I do something every day.
So we went to Coyote. In Winter Park Village.
Chayote.
Yeah. Chayote.
And, so it's my first time. I've been to the Publix behind it, probably, 3 times a week, for the last 5 years. It's the first time that I actually went into the Winter Park Village.
Oh.
And it was a revelation. It is absolutely, for me, just fantastic.
They just redid that whole area. It kind of looked like shit for a while.
They did for a long time.
And the revamp, the facelift is amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah. I mean, there's a brilliant movie theater there. that
They did as well as they possibly could do with parking as well. So parking sucks, but parking sucks everywhere that a lot of people go that's walkable. So, I mean, the several lots that are big and then the possibility for valet over by Cheesecake, I think is as good as they could possibly do for parking.
That's pretty great.
In my opinion, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks, bro. It fucking sucks. But
we
it's
went on
as
a
good as they could do.
what day was that? Ed, was that Wednesday?
Wednesday, yep.
Yeah. There was it's not empty. I would say it's at 95% parking on a Wednesday, so I can imagine
guess so.
on a Friday night. But what I can say is that with Coyote, the restaurant is really first class in terms of the decor. The service was excellent. The drinks we just had some small plates, at the bar, and very, very
Wow.
good.
The
I gotta say.
shrimp croquetas and the lamb
Yes,
crispy roll.
yeah.
I gotta
crispy
tell you,
roll.
The name of it. That was
I've been
amazing.
3 times to give it shots over and over and over. Last time I said I'd never go back.
I went there once and did not like it.
The service was as bad as I could possibly imagine when I went. Now, the food, the first time it was just me and Linda. We got lucky. We got a great table up in the front, and the service was good. The food, well, you could tell they were still getting started. It had just opened. Food was good. I was like excited about it. The second time I went, I'm talking the worst fucking service I've ever had. One of the worst service experiences I've ever had. And
Worse than Chapman?
close. It's close. And then the third time, to be fair, I think I had the same server. So it was fucking terrible again. And the food was okay, I'd say.
Yeah.
But I'd be definitely willing, especially if you guys had such a great experience, because this has been a while. This has been at least 6, 7, 8 months since the last time I was there. I definitely would give it another try. A couple of people that I trust say that it's really good. And maybe I just got unlucky a couple of times, because I wouldn't count the first one as that bad. The first time I went was not that bad. The next two, I'm telling you, the worst fucking service I've ever. Like,
We
it was
we
so
were at
bad.
the bar. We sat at the bar.
Yeah, she was super attentive, super nice.
That's not fair.
Patient.
Yeah,
That doesn't
I think
count.
I think I know where this is going.
Sitting at the fucking bar does not count.
Well, for me, the kind of weekday experiences, I'm looking for a place to go for, say, between 5 and 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Kind of Monday to Friday. And, a lot of the times the restaurants that I would talk about would be the bar kind of service where I don't need to make a reservation. I just go in, and I'd put Coyote as being one that I would go to on a a
nice.
regular basis.
Well, like I said, I'd give it a try, and I'd love to sit at the bar. Sitting at the bar is always a different experience because there's no kids fucking screaming. The other problem I had about Chayote at the time was that it wasn't set up for eating. Like, you look around, nobody's giving a shit about anything other than taking Instagram pictures. Like, that's all it was girls taking Instagram pictures every fucking corner. And I'm sitting there like, we're trying to fucking eat. Like, we haven't had no service. That's what it seemed like to me. But sitting at a bar, if I could get a good drink and some food, I definitely would give it another try.
we must do it.
Because, I mean, the croquetas I had, excellent. I remember those being really good. I think I had the steak with chimichurri sauce. It was underwhelming. Shouldn't have had a steak at that fucking place anyway. That was my bad. But I'd give it another shot, especially if you guys are saying it's that good.
Alrighty.
Today was a good day.
Good
Yeah.
day. I like it.
Thank you for listening. To my left, the DJ, the Young and the Restless. To my right, what are you pointing at, Muse?
We were trying to figure out
DJ
what was
SB.
PR's nickname, but not the DJ nickname. It was like the Angel of something. I still have to go back to previous episodes to figure it out.
I
Because
mean,
he's the Prince
he
of
gave
Darkness.
you his dress well, eat well, perform well, or whatever the fuck it is.
The Angel of Positivity. All right,
Yeah.
and to my right, the Prince of Misery. I'm sidetracked on this now because now I'm thinking of angel names for
You
DJ
got all kinds
Pumpernickel.
of- you got all kinds of stuff.
Thank you to the Wizard of Ed and the Intuitive Muse. Let's see. If you haven't already, please hit like and subscribe. We love hearing from our fellow Funklers. So leave comments, questions, and requests. Connect with us on social media for adventures throughout the week. And I'll see you guys at Fatburger at 2 a.m.
Ooh,
I think I
see you
need
in
to
the
have
promised
take a
land,
shot.
sexy man.